Hello and welcome back to Gamers Remorse. Today we're playing a independent micro game called Noueni.
Noueni is a quick card matching game in which 2 to 4 players take turns drawing the top card from their deck and playing it on a communal play area before them. Each card has 2 dots of the player's color, with 0, 1, 2, or 3 lines coming from the dot to the card's border. Players must play their cards so that they connect evenly, 1 line to 1 line, 2 lines to 2 lines, and so on. Players may play their cards adjacent or on top of other players' cards, as well as their own cards, so as to minimize the number of other players' visible dots while maximizing their own color's visible dots. The play ends when each player is out of cards in their deck. It is then tallied how many dots each player has visible, and the player with the most visible dots wins.
The player to go first is the one who is wearing the most layers of clothing.
Where?
Is that number of clothing articles? I don't think it is. I think it's layers. So I have 1, 2 on.
I have 2.
I also have
2.
What are we supposed to do now? All right, so we're batting 0 here. I'm gonna say Brian goes first.
All right, so let's play.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this here.
Boom. Let's put it in the middle, shall we?
Do it.
Noueni. Oh, what?
Ninja Turtles.
Heroes in a half shell.
Okay, don't say Ninja Turtles on that side. But you know what? You guys have a fancy view.
Noueni. What?
Interesting. Oh, I can't cover there. Because really, I want to be a jerk to Sean. No offense. But you're
Offense taken, good sir.
But you're doing weller than me.
Well, I don't think I am because you covered me up and I just expanded out. Right?
That's right. I use well instead of good because I speak English. And I know that you should say you're doing weller, not gooder.
Truth.
We're gonna have like tons of English teachers now saying, "It's better, you moron."
Truth.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I cheated.
Yes, you did.
Damaris.
So at 12 minutes, blue player.
Well, you know what? Maybe if you guys would have caught it when it happened.
I think you get to play twice in a row now.
I get to play twice in a row.
I think
now.
you take this back, and you have to play twice in a row. $21.
21 for Eric.
Yep.
21 for me.
26.
26 for you.
Victory! This has been Noueni on Gamers Remorse. I'm just gonna kick it over to Brian. What'd you think, man?
It was interesting. It was a game that promised a quick play. I feel it took a bit longer than promised, and I don't think that's because exactly who we had playing, but there are a lot of cards.
It does say less than 30 minutes.
Yeah, but I read less than 30 to mean like not 29.
Okay.
But I'm just going to run through my rubric, and then we can discuss more later if we so desire. Visuals, I really like the visual style. It is very modern, very conservative, very basic. But at the same time, when you look, you know what you're looking at. So visuals, I'm going to give it 1.5. I think they're really cool. I can't think of a way they can be done better. They definitely say what they're trying to say. As far as skill and luck goes, I'm going to give that 0.5 out of 1. There's a lot of luck in what you draw, but there's a lot of skill in where you play it. But a lot of times I draw something and I'm like, I don't want to spend 5 minutes thinking where to lay this, and I can't go there, can't go there. All right, boom, done. Pacing, I'm going to give it a 1. You can easily fall into analysis paralysis with this game. I could see someone moving their card, trying to figure out every possible location, and then I can see me punching that person in the face. So I'm gonna give that a 1. Theme and immersion out of 2. I'm gonna give this a 0 because there is no theme. Noueni means Japanese for on the top of. I'm not sure why they chose Japanese because nothing about this game is Japanese to me. But I mean, you can't really expect a theme, but at the same time, I really enjoy a theme, and I wish they somehow managed to tie one in. Mechanics 0 to 1. I'm gonna give it a 1. I actually really liked the way the mechanics played in this. You have 3 different possible, or I guess 4 different possibles, 0, 1, 2, or 3, and then you have different options of where they can go off of the dots, which I thought was really cool and really clever. And was it fun? Yes, it was fun. I feel at the end it was getting long, even though it wasn't a long game, but I feel it could have ended a few turns quicker. But 1.5, and then another half, that puts us at 2 pacing, so that puts us at 3. Theme and immersion, we stay at 3. Mechanics 4. Did I give it fun? I don't think I did. I gave it 1.5 for fun, so that puts me at what, 5.5?
All right.
What did you think?
So I really liked this game. So Brian mentioned a couple of things that I want to talk about because I disagree with him.
Aw, snap!
I know. So we talked a little bit about theme, and I think this is one of those games that falls into the minimalistic future theme category. So when we talk about theme, generally we think about high fantasy or, you know, Asian feudal times or something like that, where it's deep inside this theme category. But I think we're seeing a lot of games today that they have a theme by not having a theme, if that makes sense. So this is almost like a future. This almost reminds me of a very German game. I think that sometimes we jump too soon to saying, oh, there's no theme, it's crap, you know. But I mean, Blockus, I love that game, and this reminded me of that. Dominoes, I love that game, but there's no theme to it, you know, because there doesn't need to be. So I think when we look at theme, I'm going to start changing how I judge theme and figure out if this makes sense for this game, right? Does having no theme make sense? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So anyway, I'm gonna get off that for a second and go right into my rubric. Quality of components, 0 to 2. So this is an interesting game because I've never seen a card like this before. And I'm pretty sure it's on the Game Crafter. This is from the Game Crafter. I never even thought about buying a card like this because it's too thin for me, you know. And I never thought that you could break it in half and look, oh, it's 2 squares.
Yep.
I think that's somewhat novel in its approach. So I liked that. I like the imagery of it. When I first looked at the cards, I was like, okay, well, this reminds me of like elementary school because, you know, very primary colors and very simplistic. But when you add it all together, it creates this really interesting, vibrant picture that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually going to give that a 2. Good balance of skill to luck. That's an interesting one because sometimes I was drawing cards where nothing would fit. I really wanted to go after Brian and I couldn't do it. Or I really wanted to go after Eric and I couldn't, so I just had to build out and then someone would go on top of me, or Noueni, my card, if you will. So I'm actually gonna give that a 0.5. Analysis paralysis, as Brian said, there's absolutely analysis paralysis in this game because your choices get exponential as the game goes on. When it was the first 3 cards, it was, you know, you just put it down, no thinking. But towards the end of the game, there was way too much going on. So I'm gonna give that a 0 for that. Theme, as I talked about, it's more modern. It doesn't need all the imagery that a lot of things have. It's a work of art in and of itself, and every time you play it, it's going to be different, and that's awesome to me. So I'm actually going to give that a 1.5. Thrill versus competitive. I would say as we started to count it up, it started to get more thrilling and more competitive. If you just play it and don't count it up, and you do it just for the art's sake of it, it probably won't be there for you. So I'm going to give that a 1. And then was it fun? I'm going to give it a 1.5. What do you think, Eric?
It was fun, yeah. I definitely suffered from analysis paralysis at the end. And kind of countering what you were saying, as far as me being a gamer, like, had we not have announced the scores, I probably wouldn't have been focusing so much on, like, analyzing each individual thing. I would have probably just been like, well, okay. Like, not necessarily like you were saying for art's sake, but more just trying to maximize what I thought I had out there. Like,
yeah.
So, I mean, for me, I think it would have been a lot more interesting not knowing what each person had.
So
like,
the
I was trying to
analysis paralysis almost comes in via competitiveness.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
I feel like that.
Yeah.
On my side, anyway. Like, I was kind of trying to keep track of how many I had and not so much how many you guys were having. And then once the scores were announced, like, okay, well.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely would play it again. It was really fun, simple. It kind of reminded me almost of like kind of like the hacking in BioShock, where it's just like, okay, you gotta look for, okay, this connects, you know, like those type of games and everything. So yeah, I mean, it was simple, it was fun, it was relatively quick. So
what would you say, Eric? What would you rate this?
Out of 10, oh yeah, I'd probably rate it 7.5.
Nice.
Very diverse ratings on this game.
Yeah. So you gave it what, a 5?
5.5.
5.5, 6.5, 7.5. Average 6.5. Who's right? As always.
And
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Take a moment to thank our sponsors, Polka Dot Headbands.
Ding!
These are actually the color representation of our dot color. Make it easier for you folks at home.
Do you think our viewership couldn't figure that out on their own?
I mean, our viewership is like 3-year-olds.
True.
It's really, it's what YouTube's telling me.
3-year-olds and my mom.
Yes. Did she watch these?
I don't know. Hey, Mom, if you watch these, leave a comment. Let us know.
Yikes. No.
Sean's mom, if you watch these, leave 2 comments.
Or share.
Share. Like and share.
I'm gonna go home now and I'm gonna make an account and it's just gonna be named Sean's mom. It's not gonna be her actual name. And I'm just gonna comment on all of our videos.
It's a good choice.